And we're live.
All right, we'll call to order at 6:01. I know Mike's got to leave in like 15 minutes, so we'll try and keep this moving. All right, Louis, you want to give us the update?
Do we need the update first? I mean, do we have something that we really need Mike for, since there's only 4 voting members right at the moment?
We can move it up. I wasn't sure the update would take that long.
Yeah, no, the update really is what we need your approval on. And so, you know that the project went out to be bid. We received the bids. The low bidder was Automatic Temperature Controls. We performed a scope review meeting with them. Downs did a really excellent job going through all of the items that needed to be covered. We found that their bid included all of the work that we identified in the bid and contract documents. And so we wrote our recommendation that you award the project to ATC.
Okay. Anyone have any questions or anything about that?
What were the numbers?
Right. I'll read them off to you. I just got to go to a different screen. ENE was the other bidder. There were 2 bids. And they were at 1 minute, please. 4,594,000 and 4,594,195. And the low responsible bidder, as Louis mentioned, was ATC, and they were 4,125,15.
Significant difference.
Yes.
I assume ATC is well aware of our timeline.
Yes.
That was a big part of our discussion with them. They want to get started as soon as possible. They know that it's a challenging schedule, but we all agreed that with a plan, we could be successful.
So this is exactly what work is this for, this 4 million?
This is the HVAC replacement work at the high school, middle school.
I think this is the biggest leg of the whole project.
Yes.
Any other questions or discussion?
Yes, so as part of the review comments that the Rhode Island Department of Education had, they recommended that instead of patching all the ceilings that needed to be taken down and in order to have access to the new ductwork that was going in and sound attenuators, they recommended that we replace the ceilings instead of patching them and taking them down. We bid that item as an alternate, and that alternate was, Steve, you might help me with this, was about
$100,558.
Can you remind me what the budget for this project was?
1.5 million. I'm sorry, 4.5 million.
Okay. So with a little bit in that, we're still well within that.
So
Yes.
we have the room to do it. Is there a reason to take the entire ceiling down versus patching? I mean, are we just tearing down perfectly good sheetrock for the sake of tearing down perfectly good sheetrock?
No, it's mostly related to the acoustical ceiling portions.
Oh. So it just makes it all look the same then.
Yeah, so there are areas where drywall will come down and go back up in kind and be repainted, but there's other areas that are acoustical lay-in ceiling types.
Yeah.
So you'll have brand new tile and those, you know, it'll be a finish that, you know, it's worth the money to see at the end of the job versus trying to put back the old tile, which has got some age on it.
That's fine. I can see that. We're still about $250,000 ahead. So
Correct.
well,
All right.
what
If there's
do
no
we
further
next?
discussion, Is there a motion to award the bid to ATC? Is
So moved.
there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All those against? Motion passes. All right. Was that the only item we had to vote on, Louis or Bob?
Yep.
All right. So Mike, you can leave when you have to, and we'll move on to the schedule update.
All right, I'll just hang out till 1:15 and then I'll just quietly leave at that point.
Okay.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you. You're welcome.
So relative to the schedule for the project, Louis did receive some comments on the last submission. And Louis, you could pine in, of course, but you've resubmitted, I believe, on Friday, late Friday or Monday, responses to those comments to RIDE.
Yes, as I think we mentioned before, RIDE brought in a consulting firm to help them go through the review. There were some mix-ups as they implemented that plan, and that we had gotten original comments. Then we got a new reviewer who was not aware that we received the previous comments. All comments were addressed, and RIDE has all the information that they requested.
You don't have to go line by line. I'm just curious what kind of comments they had.
It was, basic general review comments, talking about the schedule, talking about SOAR, of course, requesting information on that. Some of the comments were already covered on the plans, but they were not aware of them. So a lot of it was, that item was included in our submittal dated whenever, that comment was addressed in our submittal dated whatever. That was the great majority of the comments.
Okay. so
Items that we
speaking of
had
schedule,
already submitted.
speaking of schedule, okay, so we were voted to move forward with ATC. They get their ore in the water, I presume, tomorrow. And so what does the schedule look like as far as what's the projected completion date right now? Assuming that they get moving tomorrow.
So the official award cannot take place until the final approval by RIDE. So we will inform them, of the committee's decision tonight, and then we need to pound away on RIDE to get the go-ahead to officially award. But right now we're early September, late October, to wrap up substantially completion to get the heat back up. Commissioning will run probably a month after that.
Well, late October is not exactly conducive.
No,
It
if I
better
said
be late
October, I meant,
September.
excuse me, if I said October, I meant August and early September.
Okay,
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
sounds-
better because by late October you need heat.
Oh, yeah, no, you to open school, you have to have it running.
Well,
Okay.
what size bat you need for RIDE?
Pretty
I'll be
big
glad
one,
to
probably.
purchase them for you.
Yes.
What specifically is the request to RIDE?
Louis,
What
I'll
am I-
let you handle
what am
that.
I-
So really,
asking
it's a formal approval of the 60% documents, which really were the final documents, so that you could award the project.
They're called the 60% documents or
Submittal, yes.
60% submittal.
That's really the last submittal that's submitted to RIDE, because we were up way ahead of the schedule. We had actual bid documents at the time we submitted the 60%. So
But
they
they
have,
know
they
the
have the
difference.
final documents.
And those are the construction documents, right, Lou?
That's correct.
So when do we think we're gonna get approval from RIDE? Because they've been, it's like a ship trying to drag its anchor.
Well, that is the $1 million question, so any
They've,
calls that can be made, certainly will help. You know, Dr. Silva's been out for the last couple days, away on break. You know, as Louis mentioned, there was a different reviewer that reviewed the project, but, James, I think you know Victor over there.
I'm texting him right now.
Yeah, great. So, you know, any help, you know, Joe does have their ear at Downs tomorrow at a meeting with them, his weekly meeting with them. So he'll certainly be, you know, uh, going at their hearts to look at this project at the last submission on Friday and give it a go.
Well, if they drag their feet too much, I don't hesitate to get our senators and representatives involved with helping pull a ship along.
I think that their approval rate, I mean, that they've really kind of sped up their approval in the past, right? I think like the last submittal was approved pretty quickly. Am I wrong?
It was. However, it was not communicated internally, so they reviewed it again and had all the comments.
So if they have
But
time to review the same
usually-
thing twice, they can do this one quickly.
Yeah, there should be no issue. Everything was successfully addressed. We're within the budget. We verified the scope of work that was carried, and so it should be an easy task for them to approve.
Okay.
All right. Is there an update on financing?
Yes, we've started am I on mute here? Nope.
No, we can hear you.
We've started the Rybeck process. They have received our application, so the sequence of events is approved through the Rhode Island Health Education Building Corp. They structure all the finance as far as, you know, coordinating the effort between bond counsel, financial advisors, and underwriters. It all kind of flows through Rybeck, and we've engaged them, we've engaged bond counsel, and we've engaged our financial advisor. The superintendent, the treasurer, and I have been working with PFM Financial, which is Steve Massaroni. He'll be making a presentation to the school committee on May 11th, outlining, you know, the different bond schedules that would suit the needs of the district and the communities. The community being, we don't want anything to hit any debt service in FY 2022. Steve Massaroni has that schedule developed. And so we're going to present that to the school committee and get their approval. And then once we have that, that's required by Rybeck anyway. We can begin that process. And in the meantime, there's just a boatload of SEC and all different types of paperwork that's going on through Rybeck, which the treasurer and I are handling. The bottom line, everything happens the way it should. Money in hand, August 10th.
And
Take care, Mike.
just another question on the financing. How is it being structured such that there's no payments due until fiscal year 22? I'm really curious to know that.
They're capitalizing the debt service for the first year.
And the numbers are still lower than what we were projecting because interest rates are lower and the projected bonuses are higher than what we were publishing.
Okay, no, I knew we were being conservative on the projected the return, the reimbursement. You know, because I remember Bob telling us one number, but always in print was another, which was really frustrating. But I was curious as to how we were getting around the repayment schedule.
Yeah, we asked a lot of questions, and that was one of the options, which when we looked at the numbers, it was such a small difference and avoided the first payment in 22, which we know, I mean, nothing personal, but for Exeter, it was super critical given the circumstances.
No, I understand.
So,
It helps us too.
yeah. So that's what's going to be presented. And it does achieve one of our goals, which was to try really hard not to have anything hit in FY22.
Okay, that's good.
And again, when you see the numbers, you'll see that they're lower than what we were projecting and publishing. So I don't think anybody's going to be unhappy with that.
No, probably not. Good.
Am I right on that, Bob, or did I mess anything
No,
up?
no, that's perfect. That's it.
Whenever Bob's quiet, you're right on the money. I figured that out.
Does that mean he likes to correct me when I'm wrong?
And he likes that.
That ship sailed a long time ago. I got yards and yards of rope here for anybody who's willing to take it.
No, Bob, you can always correct me. I don't take anything personal.
All right, I think that was it for this agenda. When do we need to meet again?
Do we know what the next?
Yeah, I would say in about a month. I think that the construction is going to move rapidly. The contractor is going to be submitting payment requisitions on a monthly basis, so we should schedule monthly meetings with the committee.
I would wait until we got the green light from RIDE and then schedule it.
Right.
Because
I agree.
if RIDE drags their feet and let's just say it's a, quick to them is 2 weeks from now. We'll meet in 4 weeks and we'll have nothing to talk about.
I would think that if it takes longer than a week, we should meet again and strategize how to get RIDE to approve it. Because anything beyond that is going to affect the completion date.
Yeah, I know. We're right now we're pretty close to 4 weeks later than I wanted to be on the start. And just because of the way things have worked out, it's nothing, everything's fine. Everything went the way we thought it was, but I mean, it's just been a struggle.
So I'll let you know when I hear back from Victor. I've already sent the text on that. Do you guys have any idea about ordering the units? I mean, I know that that's a big concern with COVID delays and shipping and all that other stuff, but
That is your biggest concern.
yeah. So has anybody done any research to find out if those items are like in stock and ready to be shipped, or what is that going to be a big problem for us?
Custom
Well,
build.
it's none of that stuff is a stock item, but we did speak to ATC the other day when we did the scope review, and those are 8 to 10 weeks, which is I'll call that a normal duration to get that stuff. So it's important we get the approval so they can get a submittal on the units, get it over to Lewis and the engineer to have it turned around right away so they can place that order.
Okay.
I'm going to give you a clue as to what we're seeing. They're going to tell you 8 to 10, and it's going to wind up being 12 to 16. So be prepared for that, because that's what we're seeing. And I buy a lot of steel.
Okay.
So when you get this thing, you make sure they get an ironclad contract on that schedule, because that's going to be important. And the sooner the better. I mean, I'd turn them loose on getting the ordering done right away, even ahead of RIDE's approval, if they drag their feet. You might want to call them tomorrow and say, hey, we got everything ready to go here, and schedule's going to be real tight. We need the approval to at least buy the units, get them on order. They're not going to change. I mean, you don't foresee them shooting down the actual mechanical units. I mean, if they're talking about ceiling tiles and carpet, who cares?
No, the units are what they are.
That's what I thought.
So-
So I would just try and get approval to move forward on that as quick as possible, because I can almost guarantee you it's not going to be 8 to 10 weeks.
Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of. That's why I asked the question.
Yeah. So the
That's why
issue
I
is
was
they need
harping
to
on
issue a PO to their vendor you know, to even get the submittals and that stuff. So it's probably worth talking about the risk the town wants to take or the district in executing that contract with them without the right approval.
Yeah, let me see what Victor responds. I mean, he's
Right.
usually very good about getting back to me within 24 hours.
Okay,
And everything that he has said to me has come true. You know, he
Sure.
said it's on the radar. It's going to be done by tomorrow. And sure enough, tomorrow I show up to work and it's in my inbox. So
right. Okay,
let me just see what he has to say. He may give me an answer tonight, and I'll text Bob, or I'll email. Actually, I can email the whole group and let you know what his response is. And you know, if it's going to be a quick turnaround, then then great. We can let them know. Expect the approval to come on this day, and we want the
Right.
order ready to go
Yeah.
that that afternoon.
Yeah, that's best.
okay.
Okay.
All right. So I guess once you get more information, if Steve or Bob could send out a proposed meeting date to the group, and we'll go from there.
Okay.
Sounds good.
All right. That's it, guys. Meeting adjourned.
All right.
All right.
Have a
Have
good
a good
night.
night.
Thank you.
Night.
Good night, everybody.
Night.
We're out.